This is so hard to see. Maybe if I do it this way. No? No, okay. Hi friends, welcome or welcome back. I'm MC, a knit and crochet designer from Connecticut. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Blame the Knots, on my website, blametheknots.com, or right here on YouTube where you can get to know me a little bit better. Today, I think we're going to keep things a little bit short and sweet. I think we can jump right in to what I'm wearing and some finished objects. I don't really have anything to update you on, so let's get going. What I'm wearing today is my percussion tee from Amanda of Lovely by Lee. I will stand up really quick so that you can get a peek. So let me sit down to have this talk. So this is my second percussion tee that I made. The first one that I made was for the test that Amanda was running. This one I decided to make on my own because a lot of the other testers had made theirs with negative ease and I really liked the way it looked. So this I made with Lion brand, A Star Is Born, Oh Baby Organic. It's 100% cotton yarn. And it is sport weight and it's really soft and lovely. I highly recommend it, although it doesn't have a super great color range. I wish they would have more because it's really nice yarn. So the first percussion tee that I made was a size large, which ended up having quite a bit of positive ease on me. My bust is about 36 inches. What I decided to make for negative ease was I took a little bit of a risk because I didn't swatch for this version and I decided to cast on the extra small. The only modification that I made was doing regular ribbing instead of twisted rib just because I was going to be knitting while I was out and about and I just wanted to not have to think about the twisted rib. But then after I finished my ribbing and when I transitioned into the body, I forgot to change my needle from the ribbing needle to the main body needle, which was one size larger. So I ended up actually making this even smaller than an extra small because I knit the entire thing on the ribbing needle. So I was nervous for a little while, but it fits just fine. I like it. I probably would have made this a little bit longer in hindsight, especially since I made that error with the needle size and now it's even smaller than the extra small. But it's okay. I still like it just the way it is. I can wear it with my high-waisted jeans and it's going to be just fine. So yeah, it's really comfy and I love it. And I definitely recommend the pattern, the yarn, anything by Amanda as well. Go check it out, definitely. Next up, I have a finished object that I had just mentioned for the first time as a work in progress last episode. And this is my Shoreline Tank from Brianna Lupino of The Little Wolf Knits. This is another one that I did not swatch for. This is made with Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the color Pinata Pop, and I held two fingering weight yarns double so that I got this kind of marled effect with the super bright pops of color that are in here. So what happened with this one is I made the third size and I don't remember what the finished bust size is for that, but like I said, I have a 36-inch bust. And I decided to make size 3. I did not swatch before I cast on. I figured that the ribbing and the stretchiness of the ribbing would cover me and be totally fine. And I was correct. It fits like a glove. The only thing that I wanted to talk about with this is, as I was getting down to the bottom, this pattern has a short row shaping at the hem. Maybe I'll pop in a picture of Bree's version so that you can see because mine looks nothing like it at the hem. I got really scared of how much yarn I had left when I was getting towards the short row shaping. And I don't know what happened because I had weighed my yarn as I was going throughout the body, I was weighing my yarn and seeing how much yarn I lost when I did like a couple of rows, so that I could plan for the short row shaping. And somehow I planned, but it wasn't right. So anyway, I was getting really nervous. I decided to do very minimal short row shaping. So I have barely any scoop to my, to the bottom of my top. But then after I finished the short row shaping and I had, what's the word, resolved all the double stitches from the short row shaping, I realized that I still had a bit of yarn left. Not a ton, but enough to do like 4 or 5 more rounds. And I have a really long waist, so I wanted to add as much length as I could, plus I wanted to get as much use out of the yarn as I could because I was not planning on using these scraps for anything else. This is a singles base, and I don't really use singles a lot, so it was not like it was something that I could throw in with another yarn. So I really wanted to get the most out of it. Now, I had been wondering what would happen if I added in extra rows after the short row shaping. And I was a little concerned about it kind of puckering where the front and back met. So basically, like, okay, if this is, I'll try and hold it so that it's in front of the green. If this is my short row shaping, right, where I split for the front and the back, and I have this V here where I divided, if I then go in and I create extra rows and I keep building up the fabric in this section, this is so hard to see. Maybe if I do it this way. No, okay. It's really hard to explain. I will pop in a picture of what happened. Basically, if you have a little V that is happening at a pretty steep angle and you try and fill it in with extra fabric that's not also shaped like that V, you're going to end up with more fabric than you have space for. So it made a tiny little dimple, I would call it, in the at the sides on the bottom of my top. So it's not a big deal because when it blocked out, it pretty much it barely happens after it's been blocked. And because this is ribbing, right, it's made with a lot of negative ease. So when it's stretched over my body, that issue goes right away. It doesn't matter. So maybe I'll pop in a picture of me wearing it as well so that you can see that nothing happens. It's not a big deal and it doesn't affect the wearability of the garment. Like I said, when it's on, it doesn't show at all. But I thought it would just be kind of a fun thing to share. It was really something that, like, I had to do it in order to figure out what was going to happen. So if you're ever going to be working on a project that has shaping that kind of makes a pretty sharp angle, just remember that if you fill that in with fabric that's not shaped in the same way, it's going to have nowhere to go. So it's going to make a little bit of a bump. I hope I explained that okay, and hopefully the picture helps to demonstrate that a little bit. Like I said, this is just this was like an experiment that I did. The pattern is not written that way, so if you follow the pattern, you're going to be golden. This is a MC going kind of off on her own little adventure kind of thing. So yeah, after my short row shaping, I added about 5 rows and it fits great. I love the length of it now. I have barely any yarn left over, which is exactly what I wanted. And I love it so much. I'm so happy I finally found a use for this yarn. I bought this a couple of years ago because I thought it was so pretty and I love neon colors. And then I sat on it for so long because I couldn't think of anything that I liked for this yarn. And now it's a beautiful top and I can't wait to wear it. Next up, I had said that I might have 2 finished objects for this episode because I was hoping to have my super fluffy sweater finished, because I thought once I picked up those sleeves and got them going, it would be really quick. And I'm still sure it's going to be really quick once I pick up the sleeves, but I actually haven't touched it since the last time I recorded. I took some pictures of it as the short sleeve, like I said I was going to do, and then I was kind of like down for the count this past weekend, and so I actually barely knit at all. I did a lot of computery things, a lot of pattern prep. Had the release for the Cherries on Top crop and did a heck of a lot of video editing for videos that I have coming up. So anyway, that's a tangent, but I didn't touch my super fluffy sweater. By the way, thank you to those who are showing interest in that. I am also excited and I can't wait to get those sleeves done. But also very exciting, look what I did. I pulled out my Beachy Breezy Cardi by Knitting Tipsy, and I am having a hard time showing this off. There we go. It's hard to see because it's green on green, but look at this. Do you see this? Do you see it? I seamed it. I finally seamed the sides. This is impossible. Just trust me. I seamed it. Look, I can throw it on. I'm gonna get myself all tangled. Oh my gosh. Should I cut this out or should I leave this in so you can make fun of me? Okay. I am in love. I am so tied up in knots. All right. Look, I seamed it and I even picked up a sleeve, which I might have just lost stitches on. No, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. Anyway, so I picked up a sleeve. I've only done a couple rounds of the sleeve, but we are getting there. I'm going to take this off before I destroy anything any further. If you watched, hang on, one thing at a time. If you watched my August project planning, I had this project in timeout for a long time because I was afraid of it. I just, for some reason, I really hate seaming, and I was really afraid of seaming mohair. It was just so scary to me, and I had no idea what to do. And I had some people that were checking in on me and checking in to see if I had finally seamed it yet. And no, I hadn't yet. But then I decided during my continual putting off of this seaming, I decided actually it might be a good idea for me to give it a block before I seamed it, just to make sure that everything was nice and even and that the stitches would seam nicely. So I did. I gave the body a block this past weekend, and then I finally did it. I seamed it and I picked up a sleeve, and now I am cruising. This is, I don't think I said, this yarn is from Kingdom Fleece and Fiber Works. They're a Vermont dyer, and I picked up this yarn in Vermont a couple years ago, I think, maybe 2 years ago. And I love Vermont. We go all the time. So it was really special to me to get a Vermont dyer's yarn in Vermont, and I believe they process all of their yarn as well, their fiber as well. They like shear their own sheep and all that kind of stuff too, which is really cool. So I only have a 50-gram hank of this yarn. So I have been weighing my yarn compulsively as I go through this, and I basically have 8 grams per sleeve that I can work with. So I'm just gonna keep going for as long as I can until I run out of my 8 grams, and we will see how long the sleeves get. Hopefully they're not a weird length. I mean, if I feel like I'm at like a short sleeve and I'm only gonna get a couple rows left and it'll be a weird length, then I'll stop a little bit early. But I would love to get long sleeves, but I don't think it's gonna happen. We'll see. Maybe this will be done by the next time I see you. I'm really hoping to be able to take it on our trip with us because this could like really scrunch up teeny tiny in a bag, and it would be nice and compact and nice and warm for the cooler days in Norway and Denmark that I'm not prepared for because I don't know how to dress myself when it's like in the 60s. You know, it's that like in between weather, and I'm really bad at it. So I'm aiming for lots of layers, and hopefully this will be one of them. We'll see. And that's it. That's all I have to show for projects that I have finished or projects I'm working on. Like I've been saying recently, I've really been narrowing down what I'm currently working on at a time, and I've been loving it, although it means I have a lot less to talk about in each of these episodes. But it feels really good to be getting things done and finishing things and then wearing them and loving them and not just having bags and bags of works in progress. It feels really good. Now on to what I have been reading. I have paused the other books that I was currently in the middle of, and I have picked up The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. The only reason that I have done this is because this is a book that I had borrowed from my library a long time ago, and I had only read about half of it, and then my loan from the library expired. I finally got it back, so I want to make sure that I finish it this time. So my other books that I personally own, I've put on hold because I can come back to them at any time. So primarily I have just been reading The Echo Wife. This is a book about a scientist that works with cloning, and one day, should I look up the synopsis? Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to say anything that was spoilery. There's a scientist that works with cloning, and one day her husband steals a lot of her work, her research, and creates a clone and then leaves her for the clone. And then a lot of funny business happens. This is a mystery thriller suspense novel that has clearly a pretty heavy sci-fi twist to it. It's really enjoyable. It's a little bit, I would say, slower paced, which is kind of probably why I ended up running out of my initial loan at the library. But I am enjoying it. I'm like 85% of the way through right now, so I will be finishing it pretty quickly, and I'm definitely wondering how it's going to end. I really don't know what direction we're going in at the moment, so I will keep you posted on how I feel about this one. And that just brings us to some life and channel stuff. Like I said, life's been really busy lately. We've been doing a lot of prep for our trip that we have coming up, and right before the trip we have family visiting, so there's a lot of like prepping for that and cleaning the house and getting everything ready. So it's just been really busy around here, not much time for extra stuff. I've been knitting when I can and reading a little bit before bed. But that's really about it. It's mostly been go, go, go with like chores and all that kind of stuff around here. But we are getting really excited for the trip. So it's really fun to do all of those planning things and figure out what we're gonna do every day while we're gone and all that kind of stuff. I've started to look up yarn stores in Norway and Denmark, and I'm very excited. I have also, I think, finally convinced myself that I will be just bringing socks for while I travel, and I think I've been able to convince myself to do that because I rationalized that if I just have one tiny little ball of yarn for a pair of socks, I will have more room in my suitcase to buy yarn while I'm there to make things with. Other than that, there's been a lot of stuff going on business and channel wise. So I had the Cherries on Top crop release. That was lovely. Thank you very much to everyone who purchased the pattern or shared or supported in any way. Another big thank you to my testers. They're all wonderful. They did such cool things with their versions. They really made me super happy with all of their creativity. It was a lot of fun to see what they came up with. So the big news of the past week is that I posted my closet reorganization video. So that was a lot of fun to post and to share with you and to be done with. I'm very glad to be done with it. It was a lot of work. And unfortunately, I didn't film a ton of the actual work happening. I think the assembly ended up being a little bit more difficult than we had anticipated. And so I didn't end up filming a lot of that. So I really have a lot of just like before and after, rather than the whole assembly process. But that's okay. At least it is there for you to take a look at. I also, earlier this week, posted a vlog that I did for the test of the Pillars tank by Claire of Perfectly Knotted, and that was a lot of fun to put together because a lot of those clips were some of the very first things that I ever filmed after getting a camera, so go easy on me. It's not pretty at times, it's quick and dirty, but I had no idea what I was doing. Not that I know what I'm doing now, but I had even less of an idea what I was doing then. So it's not the best, but it was still fun to do, and it's fun to look back and see how much I've already learned just in the couple of months since I did that test. And then the only other news is that next week I will be sharing my yarn closet organization. So that is finally ready for you as well. Again, I'm gonna have to keep saying this because it's just a fact of life. Both closets are in really dark spaces, so it's super hard for me to film in those areas. I don't have any kind of fancy light, and honestly, even like any light that I was trying to put in there just like made it look like creepy haunted house full of shadows because it's just too dark and cramped. I just don't know enough about lighting to fix that, and I don't have anything that can help me out. But yeah, at least it's there, and done is better than perfect, right? I'm excited for you to see it anyway, even though I know that some of the clips are super dark, but I can't wait for you to see. And I also decided to count the number of skeins that I currently have, or like balls of yarn or whatever. And there is a total in that video, and maybe I will be working towards getting the number down a little bit. I don't have a number in mind that I want to hit for my stash, but I do have goals of how I would like it to look or how I would like it to fit within the space that I have. And that means making my stash a little bit smaller than it currently is. So I don't know what that journey is going to look like yet, but we can go on it together whenever I figure that out. Although I'm pretty sure after I come back from vacation, I'm going to have a lot of yarn that I'm going to have to jam into that closet. We'll see. All right, that is it. All I got to say this week. So I will not be here for an episode next week. That will be my yarn closet reorganization. And then I will be back for another episode the week after that. And then maybe, I think we might be back to a normal schedule of weekly episodes. So until then, I hope you have a good one. If you are in the US, I hope you enjoy your long weekend if you haven't. And take care of you. Have a good one. I'll see you next time. Bye.